Hello, everybody. Welcome to BadgerBeat.com. Rob Hernandez, Tom Oates coming to you from Chicago, Illinois, where Big Ten Media Day, day one, in the books. And Oatesy, for the fans, this is great. It gets them all excited about the college football season. For us, we're like sleuths trying to figure out what the heck's going to go on. And I'm not sure we learned a whole lot today that we didn't already know. The Big Ten West is favorable for the Badgers. The Big Ten East is loaded with good teams. But there might be a couple teams laying in the weeds in the Badgers half of that, or in the Badgers Big Ten West that could do some damage when you look at Nebraska, Iowa, and I think Minnesota that have always given the Badgers fits at times over the years. But I just don't think it's a lead pipe cinch, and I think that's what we learned today.
Well, I think if you look at the two divisions, what people are saying is the East is better. They're new this year, obviously, and what people are saying is the East is better than the West. Well, right now it is. You have Michigan, you have Ohio State, you have Michigan State and Penn State. In the West, you have Nebraska, Wisconsin, and Iowa. A lot of those teams, probably if you take out Ohio State, the rest of those teams are all comparable. But there's probably one more good team in the East. But really, if you look at it, Northwestern had an uncharacteristically poor year last year. Not saying that's a world-beating team, but they're better.
Right.
Northwestern is better than what it played last year. I think Minnesota's an on-the-rise team, and I don't think the disparity between the two divisions, there is a disparity. I don't think it's as great as some people are saying, but there clearly is a disparity. But the fact is, whatever division Ohio State is in, there will be a disparity. It's that simple. Because Ohio State has really by a long shot the most talent. I mean, they recruit at the highest level and obviously have good coaching.
I thought what was fun today, Oatsy, was the fact that talking to Gary Anderson, you can see the wheels spinning in his head. I thought a year ago he was kind of handed the ball of clay and I thought made a pretty good piece of artwork out of the whole thing. This year you can tell that a lot of these guys are his guys. He knows what he's got coming back. He knows these guys probably personally better than he did a year ago. And out of everybody here, I think he's the one that's most eager to get going.
Yeah, I think so. And also, just much more confident talking about his team. He knows these players now. He knows what they can do. He knows, in the instances of the younger players who haven't played yet, he knows what their potential is. A year ago, he had never seen any of these players in action. He was very tentative when he was down in this setting, certainly, but really, realistically, before the season, he was very tentative because he didn't know. But now it's this is his team. I don't care what coach you are. It's hard to come in and make that first team your team, the first team you have at any given place. You're inheriting players. Some of them are seniors that have played for another coach for their entire careers. Right. But this is more his team. I mean, there's some young guys that are going to play, and he just feels real confident about it. I think he knows what he has.
He explained the quarterback situation to everybody who asked today. I don't think he necessarily shed any more light than what's been shed. It's a two-horse race. We learned that perhaps Joel Stave's shoulder's okay. At least he can play golf outside Gary Anderson's house, but
he can hook.
He can hook. That's right. But on that subject, any revelations today?
No. I think the revelation was that they are going to start out relatively even, and that they are going to split reps with the first team. To me, that's a bit of a revelation because Joel Stave has started 21 college football games.
Sure.
And Tanner McAvoy has never taken a snap in a college football game. But they're essentially going to start out even. And to me, that told you that he's not opposed to starting Tanner McAvoy, that if McAvoy wins the job, he will start. There's, the seniority aspect of it, I think, is out the window. This is a real competition. That's what that told me.
We didn't see that before, though. I mean, we didn't see. I just got the sense last year there was a little uncertainty with Joel Stave. I thought he was a very serviceable quarterback. Obviously, he led him to the bulk of those 9 wins. But I just thought that Anderson was always waiting for that next guy to step up, and no one else did. And it was kind of Stave's job by default. Do we think that McAvoy's the guy? And I mean, the way he played last year on defense, it seems to me the guy has got success written all over him.
Well, if you look at it, I mean, he's got McAvoy. who is a quarterback, not a running quarterback. He's a quarterback who can run.
Right.
There's a difference. He recruited DJ Gillens, who's a quarterback who can run.
Correct. Yep.
He's got the recruit that's going to be a senior out in Utah, Offenses, all locked up. Another quarterback who can run. It's pretty clear that that's what he wants.
Right.
And Stave's not that guy. I mean, that's no reflection on Stave's overall ability as a quarterback, but he's not that guy. He's not what they're looking for. And I think that really helps McAvoy and probably puts him into the race. He did not throw the ball particularly well in what passed for a spring game, but I do think he'll get every opportunity to win the job.
We'll drill deeper into some of the other issues that were talked about here in terms of teams, personnel, especially as it relates to the Badgers as we go forward in the coming weeks. But Oates, the other things that go on at Big Ten Media Day, Commissioner Jim Delaney speaks. A lot of the other Big Ten Network president speaks. A lot of things that maybe don't revolve around football, and these various meetings across the country, Big 12, et cetera, have generated a lot of headlines. College football or college sports in general is in a state of flux, and that makes these gatherings, a little more exciting than just being a football deal.
Well, I missed Delaney's speech, and I got the transcription, but I'm still waiting for the translation, since he only speaks corporate speak, and it's a little hard to figure out sometimes. I think some people thought that he was going to go Bob Bowlesby on everybody and come out with
or were we hoping that was what he was going to do?
With a very strong statement about this, that, and the other thing. But he really didn't. He backed up Bowlesby in some respects.
Sure.
But it's funny. You come to a thing like this, and you almost don't know which direction to go. There's so much going on in the big picture of college sports right now, with paying players. Player rights,
future of Olympic sports,
the top future of Olympic sports, top 5 conferences breaking off and gaining autonomy in terms of governing themselves. I mean, we're at a real watershed moment in college sports in this country at the high Division I level. There's no question about it. And so you come here and a lot of that was a topic of discussion as well. What you find out is there's a lot of opinions about what's going on, but I mean, the landscape is clearly going to change, and probably very soon. I think August 7th is the first shoe to drop, and then we'll see where it goes from there. But college sports in 2 years isn't going to look like it is right now. Another thing that was going on today was talk about the new playoffs.
Yeah.
And, I mean, there was just a million things, and it was actually. Unlike a lot of past events like this, there's almost nothing that you could really focus on because a lot of people were working on a lot of different angles.
And I'll let you go on this one. The other thing for Badger fans watching this, their team, the Wisconsin Badgers, continue to be at the forefront of these meetings because the program continues to be a difference maker, at least in this conference. And while maybe not quite to the level of Ohio State, certainly they've got the athletes that people are sitting up and taking notice of, obviously with Melvin Gordon and Rob Haverstein getting on the watch list. I know you and I aren't big on the watch lists, but I guess it is, if you're a Badger fan wondering what goes on down here at the Chicago Hilton, a lot of focus on the Wisconsin Badgers.
Well, it's not like the old days when the Badgers would be over in one corner of the ballroom, everybody at their individual tables, coaches and players, and no one would be talking to the Badgers. It's just not that way. Nor when Gary Anderson has his 15 minutes at the podium, do they have to beg for questions for the last 5 minutes? The Badgers have become a major player in the league. I'm not telling anybody anything they don't know, but it's pretty clear when you come to this that people are interested in the Badgers. They might not care who the starting quarterback's going to be at Purdue, but they really care about about Wisconsin because Wisconsin is a perennial contender and they're expected to be a contender. Until that changes, that's the position Wisconsin's put itself in.
Well, there you go, folks. For Tom Oates, I'm Rob Hernandez. Thanks for watching Badger Beat. We're just less than a week away from the first practice of the fall season and less than a month away from the Badgers opener against LSU down in Houston. We'll talk to you soon.